everybody. Today I've got something a little bit different for you, and that is an interview with James Newton Howard, the famous film composer. He's composed films such as The Hunger Games, he collaborated with Hans Zimmer for the Dark Knight series, and most recently he's done the new Harry Potter spin-off, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I got the chance to meet him at Abbey Road Studios to talk to him about his film composing career. So, without further ado, here it is! So I'm outside Abbey Road Studios at the moment, and I'm about to go in to interview James Newton Howard. This is going to be pretty cool. So yeah, wish me luck. Hi.
Oh, hello. There you are. Hi.
How did you start composing?
I never intended to be a film composer at all. I started out as a classical musician. Ended up playing in a rock and roll band. I played with Elton John and Crosby, Stills and Nash. Became a session musician in Los Angeles. A lot of recording sessions and orchestrations for other people, and somebody said to me, you know, you ought to do a movie sometime. And I was very nervous about doing a movie in the beginning, but I decided to do it, and I did one in 1984, I think. It was a comedy called Head Office, and I just fell in love with it immediately. But I was very much a late bloomer, so all you young aspiring composers, I mean, I didn't do my first movie until I was 34. Wow. And I didn't really write that much until I was 33 or 34, and then it just all of a sudden changed. I don't know what happened, but it was nice. Ah, there's my coffee.
So what is your process? I've heard that you know, you have to start off with a demo first, and do you score it first, or do you just create it on software? I mean, I'm guessing technology has changed over time.
It has.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell young composers the most important thing you can do is to write music and just turn off the movie. In the beginning, turn off the movie and just write something that feels that it has inspired you about either the movie or a conversation with a director or a conversation you had with your friend today, or just start writing some music. After you've got some music that you kind of like, turn on the movie and put up the music against it, and you'll be surprised how much of it will work.
Yeah.
And then you cut off the part that doesn't work, put some more on it, and you just kind of work your way that way. But I think it's very easy for people to get stuck if they're writing music for film in the very early stages by trying to synchronize too much with the movie.
Right. Do you ever get a brief where you've got a description of what's happening in a particular scene, and then you just like use your imagination and compose it through that?
This happens a lot. I mean, over the years, I did a lot of movies with M. Night Shyamalan, and what Night would do is storyboard the movie. He would show me images of the movie before he shot it, or send me a script, and I would go home, and based on the script and our conversations, I would write music and send it back, and that music would end up in the movie.
So one of my favourite collaborations that you've ever done is with Hans Zimmer for The Dark Knight. I just wanted to know, what was your kind of process with collaborating with other composers?
Well, you know, that was a unique situation. I've really never done that with anybody else, and Hans and I were good friends before that started. We'd always said to each other, wouldn't it be interesting if you started a cue or a piece of music and I finished it, or I started something, you finished it. So when Chris Nolan contacted him to do Batman Begins, Hans gave me a call and said, you know, this could be a perfect one, do you want to do it with me? And I said, sure. So really, in Batman Begins, we were in studios right next to each other at Air Studios in London. Across the hall from each other, the doors were wide open, we would hear each other composing all day. I would go over to his room, and we'd be four hands on a keyboard, and he'd come over to my room. We really co-wrote just about every cue. The Dark Knight was a little bit different, where Hans pretty much took the Joker. I took more the Harvey Dent kind of psychological aspect of the movie. And we kind of divvied up the responsibilities that way. To me, the best music in the Dark Knight is what Hans did for the Joker. I mean, he's just, you know, it was so great, and you know, I felt I made enough of a contribution where by the time the Dark Knight Rises came along, I wanted him and Chris to carry on, because I really felt like I'd done what I needed to do. But it was great. You know, I learned a lot working with Hans. Mostly what I learned working with Hans is that you're supposed to laugh and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, because I was always very serious about when I was working, and Hans is very serious as well, but there's always a lot of humor and collegiality and a lot of fun associated with it, which is very important.
So, with the new Fantastic Beasts film, what can we expect with this particular soundtrack? Are we going to be hearing certain motifs from John Williams' score from the Harry Potter series, or have you come up with something new? What can we take from that?
Well, I think you're going to hear a bunch of new themes for new characters and a whole new story. Harry Potter isn't born yet. So, obviously there would be an homage to John Williams' incredible music here and there, but I think people will enjoy it, and I would imagine would expect to have new themes for. It doesn't really make too much sense to have Hedwig's theme playing over somebody 70 years before. Of course. That kind of thing. But I hope people will enjoy it.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All
right.
Pleasure. Cheers. And there you have it, my interview with James Newton Howard. As you can tell, I was quite nervous because I've never met someone face to face and actually sat down and talked to someone with such a big status. So it was a big deal for me. I've actually been invited to the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them premiere, so I'm going to be vlogging that. So look out for that. So if you like this video, please leave a like or a comment, or if you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Only if you want to. But I'll catch you next time. Shall we do that? Let's do that. Over there.